So from the beginning of the 19th centuries, modern medicine was developed in Western countries. So the difference between traditional medicine and modern medicine is that traditional medicine just uses a crude extract from the plants or animals or minerals. But the modern medicine, they use active component with exact structure and very clear property. So the first modern medicine, morphine, was isolated from opium in 1803, so almost 200 years ago, by a German chemist. So this is a very effective painkiller. So even now, we can also find the application of morphine in hospitals. So unlike traditional medicine, mainly based on experience, the discovery of modern medicine consists of scientific research, screening, and clinical trials, and finally mass production by drug companies. However, at that time, Chinese people didn't know what is science and research. So China, until now, China also Chinese pharmaceutical industries is still very weak. So we can see the top 50 pharma company of last year. So United States has 16 companies, Japan has 8 companies, and even India has 1 company. But for China, 0. However, during these years, Chinese scientists made some important breakthrough in modernization of Chinese herbs. So as you know, the Nobel Prize in physiology and medicine was awarded to these 3 scientists. So the last one, the last scientist is from China, Yu Tu. So her contribution is the invention of a novel therapy against malaria. So what is malaria? Malaria is a type of very serious tropic disease transmitted by mosquitoes. In South America, Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia, millions of people are suffering from malaria every day. And it also caused many people died. In 1967, the Chinese government launched a project for seeking a new anti-malaria drug. This is a project it's a very secret project, so for army, because at that time, so Vietnam has had a war against the United States, and the Chinese government supports North Vietnam. So during the war, many Vietnam soldiers died from malaria. So the leader of North Vietnam asked the leader of China to develop some anti-malaria drug for them. So under this background, so this project 523 was launched. So there are more than 500 Chinese scientists are involved in this project, including Tu Youyou. Tu and her teams looked for prescription of malaria from traditional Chinese literatures. So one of the prescription in this book described that Qinghao, this plant called Qinghao. Qinghao can be used for malaria treatment. However, when the researchers found use this Qinghao to treat the patient, they found the result is not stable. Sometimes they get very good efficacy, but sometimes they did not. And to read this sentence, and they found probably the process for extract Qinghao from this plant is very important because usually Chinese people use water to boil the plant to extract the effective component from this drug. But to think probably the temperature is too high, and the high temperature destroys the chemical structure of the effective component. So finally, he decided to use ether to extract this Qinghao, and they successfully isolate the component and identified the chemical structure of this compound. So they call this Qinghao Su in 1972. But at that time, because this is one of the top secret, so they cannot publish any paper. And after 7 years, they just published a paper in Chinese. And the whose name was not on the paper. So the author name is the group of scientists for discovery of anti-malaria drugs. So, so based on the chemical structure of Qinghao Su, a group of scientists in the United States complete the total synthesis through 20-step reactions. The results were published in JACS in 1983. And currently, a number of pharmaceutical companies, both in China and in Switzerland, and this is in France, are producing Qinghao Su, saving millions of lives every year.